Welcome back, everyone. And today, our special guest is Andrew. Andrew is a 23-year-old trader from Nigeria who is currently trading a $50,000 instant funded account with FundYourFX. Now, Andrew focuses on intraday trading, mainly on gold, and has already achieved multiple four-figure payouts. What makes his story even more interesting is how quickly he scaled, starting with just a 5K account and growing to 50K in only a couple of months. In this episode, we will talk about consistency, trading a large funded account, why he chose instant funding instead of a phase challenge, and how trading has impacted his life. Andrew, what a pleasure to have you here, man. Let's start with how your trading journey began.
Like everyone, we all want to make money, right? That's where it all starts from. And for me, my first year in university was really, really rough. I was really broke, down to earth. I barely ate. And a friend of mine introduced trading with me, started with crypto trading. And after a couple of months, I walked into the prop firm space. It was really vibrant. It was a new thing all along. And when I started trading, of course, like everyone does, I lost a lot of money, and it
Yeah.
was it got to a point that I gave up a couple of times, but my friends just brought me back up. Like if without them, I won't be here. So I think it's more of a joint effort between me and a lot of my friends that we worked together and we kept ourselves going and pushed ourselves forward.
That's amazing. Now, for how long are you trading for?
I've been trading for a little over 4 years now. I think so. Yeah, I think I started almost after COVID-19. I'm sure we all remember that dark time of the world, and there was everyone was at home. We all started doing things online, and I couldn't just sit idle and do nothing. So I started trading with my friends, and now it's almost more than 4 years now.
Wow, that's amazing. So it sounds like, if I can use that word, you start trading out of desperation, out of the
Y-
need of I have to make something great in my
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Amazing. Did you have a mentor or someone who helped you, who guides you, or how did you start learning?
So I subtly started learning from seeing posts on Twitter at that time, so still called Twitter, now called X. And I started seeing this thing they call chat. I was not really familiar with what it was. And I was intrigued because, of course, they're making a lot of money. I wanted to be in that situation. I wanted to be in that position to make a lot of money. So I started doing my research on my own. I started on my own, firstly, just so I can get the grad because everyone around me already went ahead and like they already know more than me. So I needed to catch up more or less. So I started by myself. I started watching YouTube videos. Of course, we did the every. I think almost everyone watched ICT, right? So I started watching ICT, and it was so confusing. I did not know what was going on. I was like, bruh, I can't do this anymore. It was not speaking English. But of course, after some time, after asking help from my friends, I would say my friends were my mentors because like we kind of did it together. So after some time, I started to understand it better, and we all eventually went our separate ways in terms of strategy. I personally don't use ICT strategy right now. My friends do use ICT strategy. I guess ICT is just not for me. So my mentor is Tony. I don't know if you know Tony Ike, but my mentor is Tony FX. He's also a
Okay,
Nigerian trader.
amazing. So, um, before we go into your strategy, I want to ask you, you started with a 5K account, and that what impressed me a lot. And you scaled to 50K in just a couple of months. How were you able to grow that quickly?
Okay, so I first thing I did was to get an account, of course, and I got a 5K account because that's what I could afford at the time. I couldn't really afford more than that. And because I more or less used all my life savings to get the account, I had to be very careful. So I took it step. I was very patient. I was in no hurry at all because I learned from my past. When I rush, I blow accounts. So I had to really take it slow, really dig into it and like go deeper, right? So I was just patient, traded, did what I could. I never made any rash decisions when it comes to trading. I took everything one step at a time. And I think that's what most traders make because it gets to a point that desperation starts to take over your trading. So you want to always trade. And that's the goal. The goal is to trade less and make more money. Because the more you trade, the more chances you are going to lose some money. So the how I was able to scale from 5K to 50K was I was only able to take setups that I know that I can risk my life savings on, if that makes sense.
Wow, man, what a statement. Wow. Okay. And that's amazing. That's amazing. Honestly, I'm
Yeah,
speechless. Well done. Well done.
thank you.
You're trading the instant challenges instead of the phases. Why did you
Yeah.
choose that one? Knowing
Well,
all the restrictions, the rules, and all this stuff.
yeah. When I looked at the rules, of course, before a trader needs trades the problem, you need to look at the rules. You need to see if it fits your trading style because most problems nowadays have ridiculous rules. And I came across FundYourFX and I was just blown away. It just seemed so easy to me. Like I need this, like this is for me. It looked like the challenge was made for me personally. And when I got the instant account instead of the challenge, of course, my friends were like, I should have got to the challenge instead of the instant account. But over my years of trading, I've blown a lot of challenges. I just needed something new. I wanted something new. I looked at the Instant Funny Challenge and the rules were very, very tough. I'm not going to lie. And I think I needed that push. I needed something to like keep me locked in, locked down, so that I'll be able to move one step at a time. And I think the Instant Funny Challenge did it for me.
That's great. Does this suits your approach better as well in the market, or it has nothing to do with your trading style and it's purely to keep you disciplined and grounded?
I think it's purely to keep me disciplined and grounded because I for traders, for most traders I've come across, challenge just seems something easily disposable, right? It's just a challenge. I'll trade anyhow. It's just a challenge, and I think that mindset really messed up my trading psychology for a while. It's just a challenge. It's just a challenge. But now I have the real thing. This is an account I can actually make money from. I think it's that's what really pushed me.
Okay, how easy was the scaling process with FundYourFX based on your experience?
Well, for me, it was very smoother than I imagined, of course, because, of course, I've traded for a lot of prop firms, big prop firms, and some that have even closed down now. And I was really surprised when I got the account and I saw that I could scale this account easily. Like I said before, I started very, very slow. I was really patient because I kind of used my whole money to purchase the account, so I couldn't really blow it unless I was just I'm done. So I started slow, traded one setup at a time, one market at a time, and I focused on gold. I just focused on gold, and I'll also say I was a bit lucky too.
We need some lag in trading as well.
Yeah, we need some luck in trading.
100%, 100%. You are mainly an intraday trader, right? And as you just said, you're focused on gold. Why is that? Why gold and not, let's say, Nasdaq or another volatile market?
Well, for me, I've mainly focused on forex pairs, meaning like EU, UJ, anything that has to do with USDT, more or less. I'm mainly I look more into the dollar market because I follow dollar news very closely. And that's one thing traders need to do. You can't really just only look at the chart. You have to follow every other thing that happens outside the chart, right? So
Yep.
I focused on gold because it was very volatile, one. And I I don't know, I think I have this special connection to gold because
Yes.
most of the accounts I blew were on gold. Gold really took all my accounts. I'll call gold my ex-wife for a while because it took everything I had, right? Like a divorce. And it got to a point I was like, nah, I want my wife back. And I just focused. on trading on gold. I didn't really look at any other pair. I wanted to master gold because for some reason everyone is scared of gold, and I decided to conquer it.
Yes, that makes sense. Absolutely. And the more you trade one asset class, the more you understand how it moves, right? The session volatility, like you see
Yeah,
today, for example, on gold on a 5 minute chart, the average range of every candle is, let's say, X pips, and you see tomorrow double that. So, the volatility is much higher and you understand how to approach it. But if you are trading 10, 20 different assets at the same time, then you don't get the chance to learn that asset
yeah,
that
exactly
well.
that. Exactly that.
Trading gold, because it's, as we know, it's a high volatile market. Do you focus on a specific trading session? Are you mainly trading the EU or session or the New York or something else?
Yeah, I trade from London to the New York session because of my time. My time, I'm in Nigeria, so I more or less wake up, let's say 7 a.m. Not really because I'm disciplined, I just don't get that much sleep. So as soon as I'm awake, I go straight to my laptop and I just start looking, seeing if I can see a familiar pattern. Because that's the goal of trading. The goal of trading is to open your chart and look for a familiar pattern, something you've seen
Exactly.
before, and you
Exactly.
go through it. So that's what I do. I wake up and I go open the chart, and I'm not constricted to any time frame. I can trade anytime in the midnight, the middle of the night, during the day. Any day works as long as I see exactly what I'm looking for.
Okay, let's nail down. Walk us through your trading strategy from A to
Okay,
Z
okay,
if it's possible.
okay. First thing I look for on the higher time frame is a trend. I need to know if the gold is on an uptrend or if gold is on a downtrend. And once I see that, I start from down first to the 4 hour time frame, still looking at if the trend is valid because the trend might, for me, for my strategy, trend might not be valid on the daily time frame and the 4 hour time frame. When I see it matches 4 hour and daily, I go down to the 2 hour time frame. It still matches, I go down to the 1 hour time frame. It's around that 1 hour time frame I start to look for my setup. First thing I need to look for is a market structure shift or a break of structure, right? If it's on an uptrend, then all I'm looking for is on the break of structure because it keeps breaking structure to go on an uptrend. Then after I focus and I see my break of structure, first thing I need to look for is a valid liquidity. I call that an inducement. I need to look for a valid inducement immediately after my break of structure or market structure shift. Then after I get the inducement, I look for my point of interest. My point of interest most times is either an order block or a breaker block, and my point of interest must be close to my inducement. So most of the time, I might say an order block, but then the inducement is closer to a breaker block, so I pick that breaker block instead, and then it's just rainbows and sunshine from there.
Okay, let's make sure that everyone listening understand your strategy. You start from the 4 hour time frame, going
Daily
all the
time
way
frame.
down for the daily. So that's your higher time
Yeah,
frame.
yeah,
And you look for a trending condition, either an uptrend or a downtrend. Then you
exactly.
move down to the 4 hour chart, 1 hour chart, and you do further analysis. And where are you looking for the order block and the brace, the ice block, and all this stuff? In which time frame? Let's say from the daily, you end up going down to which one? 15, 5, 30 minutes,
Okay.
1 minute?
So most of the time, I see an order block on the daily time frame, but I don't really trade on the daily time frame because that just takes too long. I don't really want to wait for orders.
I used to do
So
it for three
I'm
years.
yeah,
It's it's
it's
pain.
such a, I don't like it at all. So I start from, I ideally I take my trades from 2 hour time frame and below. So if I see my setup on the 2 hour time frame, I take it. I don't take if I sit on a 4 hour time frame or daily time frame because it just takes too long for me and I don't like that. So
Yep.
from the 2 hour time frame to the 1 hour time frame to the 45 minute time frame to the 30 minute time frame, I don't trade below 30 minute time frame.
Okay.
Gold is too volatile to trade below 30 minute time frame
Oh yeah,
for me.
absolutely. It is. Even the 15-minute time frame is a bit
It's always fast.
exactly. Do you consider areas of support, resistance, Fibonacci retracements?
I I
Are they a part of your trading plan?
I look at support and resistance because there are sometimes the market just consolidates. So I need to wait for it to break either the support or resistance before I take the trade. I don't use Fibonacci. I sometimes only when the market is consolidating, that's when I use support and resistance.
Okay. When the market is consolidating and you cannot define if it's an uptrend or a downtrend, on the daily chart, do you still do further analysis to lower your time frames until you find the trending condition that allows you to participate in that short-term move?
Well, that is when I come down to the lower time frame because it might be consolidating on the daily time frame, but it's a clear uptrend on the 2 hour time frame. So when I go down to the 2 hour time frame, like I said, I'm patient. If I don't see my setup, I'm not going to trade. So if I go down the 2 hour time frame and I see an uptrend, but I don't see the exact setup I'm looking for because there are some criteria before I take a trade. And if I don't see those three criteria, if it's just two out of the three I see, I don't take the trade. If it's just one, I don't take the trade. It has to be three out of three. And once I see the three out of three, whether it's considering on the daily time frame or 4 hour time frame, as long as those criteria are met at least on the 2 hour time frame, I take the trade.
Okay. Do you have a specific risk to reward ratio that you aim for?
First of all, it depends on the firm. Every firm has different drawdown or trading rules,
Sure, sure.
and I mostly, because of the size of the account I trade, depending, regardless of the size of account I trade, I risk 1% per trade. I never risk more than 1% per trade. No matter how good the setup looks, I don't risk more than 1%.
Do you always use stop loss when you get into a trade?
Definitely. I'm never not going to use a stop loss. I'm always going to use a stop loss. Always.
Do you feel betrayed by the market if your stop loss get hit?
Yes, I do. I had this trade this week. It hit my stop loss very lightly and then went my way. That was really frustrating because my analysis I thought my analysis was spot on, but apparently my stop loss was just a little bit too tight for the setup. And I felt betrayed because it could have just gone my way, right? Instead of hitting my stop loss. But I guess it wasn't my day. And that's fine.
Okay. How many times can you afford mentally to get losing trades in a row without messing up with your mindset?
Okay, I think my longest losing streak has to be like 12 losses in a row. And at that point, I was trading 100K account from another firm. That was during my early trading years. At that time, I didn't really know what psychology was. All I knew was I just wanted to trade and make money. So I kept making mistakes. But now that I've been more matured, I've not had more than three losses in a row. At least I'll break even. That's the very least. So, but straight up stop loss, I've not had more than three in a row. I don't think I can handle more than three in a row. I'll just get close shop for the week and try again next week.
Okay. I have to say that your mindset is unmatched.
Yeah, thank you.
I understand that you went through. Now it's just because I'm a coach and performance coach, performance trader. I can see that you went through a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really did.
From the way you explain your behaviors in the market, I understand that you are a trader who went through the hard way, who experienced trading the hard way. And you are here now sharing so much wisdom based on personal experience that people who listen to this episode, they are getting real values out of this. And I'm so glad about that. How does getting paid constantly from prop firms impacted your life based on the fact that you're living in Nigeria and maybe the cost of living in your country is slightly different than the cost of living in other countries? How do you see that, let's say, reward and effort? You put so much effort into trading, but because trading it's a smart way of working, yeah,
Yeah.
so how do you enjoy this? How does this impact your life generally?
Okay, when I got my first payout, I wasn't really hyped about it because my goal is to be able to replicate what I can do over and over again. I knew my first payout was purely luck. And after that, I blew loads of accounts. So I was right. But now that I'm able to get consistent payouts, I still don't let it get to my head. I'm a student, right? And I also have things to do. I help my parents, I support my parents, I support my siblings. I'm doing well for myself. It's really unreal because sometimes trading can mess up your perception of money because at some point it just looks like numbers on a screen. But then this is what some people work really hard for, right? So I try to live as humbly as I can. I don't go overboard with what I do. I don't really like parties and all. I just wake up, trade, go to the gym, come back, eat, and I think that's basically it. So it's made my life better 100% because it's a lot of money. It might not look like a lot of money to a lot to some people because $4,000 in Nigeria is a lot of money. It's really a lot of money, and that can really change that can change someone's life in Nigeria.
That's amazing, amazing. Well done, man. So if you had to say something to someone that is interested in getting into prop firm trading, maybe why they should and how they can start. Let's say if you see yourself sometime in the past and say, if I was starting today, I would have done this thing differently based on my experience now.
Um, First advice I'll give anybody that wants to trade for the first time is patience. You have to be patient. You can't rush the market. It's the market. It has a mind of its own. Nothing you really do, no analysis you do can really is really 100%. So you can't really get that. I think as traders we know no setup is 100% sure. There is always a chance of getting stopped out. So you have to be patient. If you get stopped out once, that doesn't mean you should give up. If you get stopped out 10 times, that doesn't mean you should give up. Even 100 times, you just have to be patient and perfect your craft. Take your time, do your research, go to the chat. It's just like drawing. I draw, for example. And to get better at drawing, you have to spend hours drawing. You can't just draw 1 hour a day and call it quits. There are some days I spend 9 hours, 10 hours drawing in a day, just doing nothing but drawing. And that's it. I think you can relate that to trading. Trading is also like an art. You have to put in a lot of time and be patient. You can't really rush it. That's it. Just patient.
So patience, patience, patience.
Patience. Yeah. Patience.
What about those people, let's say they go on YouTube or another platform and they see those flashes there,
Yeah.
and
Uh
it's like for some people it's a dream life. For some other successful traders like you, from what you shared so far, is not the dream life. So you are happy within you, how you treat your daily life. You have rules for yourself and you follow what makes you happy. So what's your comment on all these, I call them flashes that goes on
yeah.
YouTube?
Well, initially I was like that because it's not easy being a broke person and going online and you see someone probably not that much older than you making a lot of money. And I'm talking like $100,000, $200,000. I start to think to yourself, like, what if that was me? Like, what would happen? But then you can't really put yourself in other people's shoes. You're already in your own shoes and you need to work with that. I started with no phone. I could not even afford a smartphone. So it was more difficult for me. I was just more or less leeching off other people. I'll put it that way. And they really helped me a lot because you have to start small. You have to start from somewhere. And you can't really let what other people have achieved on the long run affect you. You are just starting and they've been in it for 5 years. It's not comparable at all. You can't compare it. You can't compare someone like Messi to someone like, I don't know, a teenager that just started playing football not long ago, right? Messi has been playing football for almost all his life. Of course, he's going to be better than you, and that's where I look at it. Of course, someone like Braja is going to be better than me at trading. He has been trading probably more than I've even known what forex is. Of course, it's going to be better than me, but eventually, I'm going to get there, step by step, with patience, with discipline and hard work. I'm going to get there. So, for, to, an advice to give to someone like that: don't let that get to you. You should not really let that get to you. Start at your own pace. Everyone is different, and with your own pace, you will eventually get there.
That's amazing, amazing. Honestly, Andrew, thank you so much for coming on and share your story. Personally, I'm amazed by the transformation I can see you made in your trading. Your journey shows how powerful consistency and discipline can be, and especially when combined with opportunities that you can take on from prop firms. Now, guys, for everyone else listening, Andrew's experience is a great reminder that scaling in trading doesn't happen overnight. It's built through
Yeah.
structure, through patience, and through vigorously strict risk management. If you enjoyed this episode, which I'm sure you do, make sure to follow the podcast and of course share it with another trader if you know who's working towards their first funded account or even their payout. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you as always in the next episode. And as always I say, stay disciplined and trade smart.